Welcome back to another Career Mode Series episode. We have a couple missions that we can do and get some quick cash, and set ourselves well on our way to becoming Stormworks millionaires. This is a little refueling rig I've set up since one of the missions is refueling a boat. We'll see what all that entails, as I have not done a refueling mission myself. I'll probably get something wrong, but it'll be a great learning experience for other times. So, here's the missions on the map. They're right next to each other. If it was just one or the other, I wouldn't bother. But since they are so close, we might as well get some easy money. Between the two of them, they'll give $6,000 for completion. So let's get a move on and set a course for the lighthouse. It's in between southwest and west. I think something like 220 will be a good heading for us. Pin that throttle. We got places to be. I'll see you when we get close to the lighthouse. So, we're looking for that first boat that needs repairs. Now, a lot of times that means their lights don't work, which means they'll be hard to spot in the dark. So we'll need to keep an extra good lookout. I'm not seeing anything. We'll ride the coast a little bit to see if they come into view for us. I'm also not quite sure if this is the section of coastline we want. I think they're up the other way here. Sometimes it's so easy to miss these boats if they don't have lights. I've been practically right next to them before and not noticed. I'm still not quite sure where I am on that coastline. Let's do a quick 180 and see if we missed anything. If we don't see anything in just a minute here, we'll move farther west along the coast. The more I'm looking at it, the more it looks like we're too far east. Alright, let's search up this coastline one more time, then move farther up it. Let's move away from the shore a little to see if we can spot this boat. Huh, there it is, just around the corner from us. It already needs repairs, so let's not add to that. We'll ease up to it real gentle-like. Looks like I'm not making the Stormworks Olympic long jump team. Bummer. I was looking forward to that. There's a job well done. Fixed up some random abandoned boat. Hope whoever owns it is happy. Now we got to go find that refuel mission. I'll see you when we get close to it. We're getting close to the refuel mission, and Dawn is here. There's the boat. Let's see what all we need to do here. Easy now. Don't want to become part of the scenery for the fish. Okie doke. Let's get rid of this welder and grab a hose. Now we need to find where the hookup is. Looks like there's a repair element to this mission as well. Oh well, this hose is being a pain. Let's grab that welder and make ourselves useful. Wait, does this need electric instead of diesel? I'm not sure if I even put a cable on board. Oh boy. I hate to leave it undone, but I couldn't find a hose anchor, so I think it needs to be charged. We'll return to base and add that to our boat. See you in a second. Alright, let's see what we want to do here. Let's get rid of this eyesore. I guess we'll add a cable anchor. We need one anyway, just in case that battery issue reappears and causes major problems down the line somewhere. Now where to add it? Let's add it in behind this rope anchor. We'll connect the electricity up to it, and that should be good. I think we're actually good on batteries. If recharging kills one of our batteries, we have another to get the engines going. Let's save this real quick. I have an idea for what to do with the open space on the back of the boat. We'll have to move a few of our logic blocks somewhere else, but it will add a ton of utility to this boat. I'd like to add some connectors so that we can have different modules. I'm thinking we can have a refuel/recharge module, a rescue module with additional first aid, and maybe some utility modules of sorts. Alright, there's some connectors that we can hook different modules to. It's a small footprint, so we'll have to make the most of it with some of these modules if we want them to actually be useful and functional. Let's get started creating a refuel and recharge module. Here's our base. It's 7 by 7, so we should be able to fit a couple fuel tanks, a pump, and a battery with appropriate connections. Okay, let's select this and put it into the workbench by itself so we can have separate save files for these modules. Now this is its own file. We can use the selection grid later to put whichever module we need onto our boat when we're finished. Whoops, forgot to save the boat with the connectors. Oh well, that's easy enough to remedy. Now let's hook these up to some power. There. Now let's get back to our module. First, we'll put a couple medium fuel tanks. I think I want to change this. I want the relief valve centrally located, but I also want the pump in the middle. We'll replace this T-piece with a cross pipe. This won't be great for flow rate, but then again 2 medium tanks is not really that much. So, that's where I want the hose anchor. I'll need to fit a pump in there somehow. I have an idea. Let's get rid of the cross piece and make it a T-corner piece. We'll just come at it from the backside, so we can fit a small 3 by 1 pump. And for anybody wondering, a quick way to tell which way this pump is facing is that the black ring is on the pump outside. There's the essentials for the refueling system. Just needs a way to activate the pump. There we are. I like using the key button. I can adjust it to take longer or shorter to activate. Plus, I think it looks better than a regular toggle button. Now let's add a battery to the module. I don't want to constantly have to rely on a backup battery because I have modules that constantly exceed the recharging capabilities of my boat. I still want to have the module be recharged by the boat, but most of these modules will be in use while the boat is stationary and idling, thus producing the least amount of power. So having just an extra battery on the modules seems like the easiest solution, since almost none of these modules are going to be in use for a long enough time to run us out of charge. Okay, now let's put the cable anchor in. We'll move the key up and frame it out nicely. Then we'll put in the cable anchor. Now we need to fit a hose and a cable on here. Either side of the hose and cable anchors should do nicely. There's our refuel and recharge module. We'll paint it up real pretty and see you then. Alright, I added paint and a couple handles, and now I'm about to add an instrument panel so we can see the flow rate, battery discharge, fuel level, and battery charge. I'll keep the flow rate and discharge as dials and use gauges for the fuel and battery levels. I've made a microcontroller that I can plug into panels that have all number or all on-off signals. If you noticed, I changed the channels on the panel to numbers 1 to 4. I have those channels set in my microcontroller already. Makes instrument panels a little bit more plug and play, and takes a lot less time to configure, since it's done the same way every time. We'll place down the microcontroller and hook up the composite first. Then we'll start connecting all of our numbers. The weakness of prefab fuel tanks. You have to add all of them together to get an accurate fuel reading. It's the main reason I prefer custom fuel tanks. So, to get the discharge rate off the battery, I made a microcontroller that uses the delta, or change in the battery charge. The delta measures and outputs the change of the value from one physics tick to the next. One tick is 1/60th of a second in Stormworks. I'm going to add a function of x times 60 to get the reading unit from a tick to a second. We'll also make it an absolute value, so it always displays as a positive number. Now we'll update the microcontroller. Now we can route that to our panel microcontroller. We'll save those changes. I think it's a little bland to have it all one color, so I'm going to put a few highlights on it to make it more visually appealing, mainly on the control panel section of it. I like making panels a different color. In some ways it can be a human factors thing. If someone were using this piece of equipment for the first time, they would be drawn to the one section that's differently colored, which just so happens to be the control panel. Unfortunately, there is not much I can do to keep out unwanted humans from interacting with the machine, so you'll just have to protect it with your life, I guess. We'll toss in a constant on for the panel backlight. Better double check my electric connections. Oh looky, forgot to connect the panel. Have I saved it enough yet? I'm not sure. Probably should save at least 15 more times to be certain. I'll add a button to disconnect the module. I know I said I like the look of the key, but in this case I'll use the big ugly toggle button. Why? I don't know. For maximum hypocrisy, I guess? Alrighty folks, that's going to wrap up this episode. I know, I'm cruel for not showing the boat with the module on it this episode. Anyway, next episode will most likely be us refueling that boat out yonder, and then doing some more missions to gain some green. I'd like to buy North Harbor at some point. From there, maybe we can get into fuel trading and container missions. If you guys want to see a build series that's not related to career mode, let me know. I'll give a shot if it's within my building skills. I've made most main types of builds and power types, so I feel like a good portion of builds are on the table. Only things I feel I really lack on are decorations, Lua, and things that require super complex mathematics. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on the Career Mode series.